Lord, everybody. Pastor Nick here with the wife.
Hi.
Reverend Smith. Welcome to Link Couples Ministry. We're so glad that you've joined us today. We hope that you are having a wonderful day so far. And please do us a favor and share as we continue to do ministry, these episodes for married as well as engaged couples. Again, please do us a favor and share, get somebody on. Won't be on long, but just want to continue some discussion points. And I believe last time we talked about vulnerability and the struggle of it, the foundation of it. And I was talking to some people a while ago, and this comes up consistently in any marriage counseling, marriage therapy. I'm sure you have it when you're in session with couples. For those who don't know, she's a licensed therapist, and trust takes so long to build, and can be shattered in one moment. And oftentimes when I talk to people, and even in my own life and other people's lives, the recognition of doing something that breaks trust, is it worth potentially losing said person, depending on what it is? Because you can lose the person physically or lose the person's physical still be there, but their heart and mind is just tapped out. And also, is it worth going through the process of rebuilding, but still having that thought that, hey, this happened?
Yeah.
And it can take a long time to rebuild trust, a long time to rebuild it. And I've seen couples where trust was broken, and they actually had a better marriage after the infraction than they did before. And in some, they didn't because they just couldn't work through it for whatever reason. But when you're in sessions, and I know I said a lot, when you're in sessions, when you're thinking about vulnerability, trust, the restoration of trust, and all that I said, what can you kind of throw out there, like you giving somebody therapy or you just want to talk for yourself, whatever.
You ever see Dr. Pimple Popper?
No.
The show is really crazy, but I think sometimes
some you and I will probably watch. Yeah. Right.
Well, she punctures holes in people, and the stuff just oozes out. Well, I think sometimes when there's an infraction and a break of trust, it's kind of like that. I don't mean to be gory, gruesome, but it's sometimes the reason why the relationship gets better after there's infraction or a wound is because it reveals a lot. And if you have a mature couple willing to work and talk through things, is we allow the explosion to happen because it reveals a lot. Oh my gosh, all of this stuff just kind of oozed out of the relationship. We have clarity on where things went wrong, and what we didn't talk about is just is revealed. And with careful conversation about what is necessary to rebuild and repair, you can be vulnerable with each other again and repair damage that has been done to relationships, but it's not easy, and it's painful. It's a painful process. It's hard work. It's uncomfortable, but with willingness, we can do what's necessary. And sometimes that's what happens, but no one wants to get to that point if we do what's necessary up front, which is, what does it take to care for you? What does it take to help you feel safe and comfortable being vulnerable, and having clarity for myself, what is dysfunctional about my own schema and my own thinking, and what behaviors are attached to what I struggle with, because I don't want that to impact you. Because a lot of times when it comes to lack of trust is we start behaving in ways that are, related to how I think about how I feel, and that can be worked on, but it's necessary to address those things individually and with your partner. That's vulnerability, is the ability to be able to do that, to talk about where I have pain, where I have dysfunction, working on those things, but also not being too afraid to share those things with my partner so that there is safety in the relationship.
Creating that safety for those hard conversations. But I'll throw this out here at you again. When I've done plenty of counts, their marriage sessions or relationship sessions, and something like you said would inevitably come out. That pimple will burst and it just comes out, right? And the other person say, how come you never told me that? two things I noticed. Either there was a fear of revealing it,
Yeah.
or here's the crazy thing. I won't say crazy. The person themselves weren't aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, now I get it. And now I can actually articulate what I've been feeling, sensing, but I didn't really. I think what we discover is that sometimes in relationships, in marriages, we don't realize what we don't know about ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, you can't know yourself by yourself.
Yeah.
It's impossible. Marriage is meant to be a revealer. So the longer I'm with somebody and the closer I get to that person, the more not just I learn about them, but the more I'm supposed to learn about me.
For sure.
Because relationships make you encounter your issues, your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sometimes you need somebody to help give you the language to express what you're feeling because you don't know how to articulate it, or you never put two and two together.
Mm-hmm.
You never, as Bishop says, connected the dots.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I struggle with this is because my father. The reason why I struggle with this is because of the house I grew up in. And, you know, all those things play a role in that. But if we're going to restore trust, guess what, y'all?
Yeah.
It requires work, like you said. But there's got to be some vulnerability. Because I often ask couples, do you want to work on this? Yes. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because you have to go through the fear. And it's slow. It's a slow process, not fast, of working on. You can't restore trust without, watch this, actually opening up to trusting again.
Yeah.
And that takes work and time and change behavior.
That part, which
Change
is
behavior.
change
Oh,
behavior,
what
which,
is
because a lot of times we think that because I know better, I do better, right? So we have this revelation, we talk through it. And then because we think the person knows this about me now, they know that I've been vulnerable. I told them how I feel. I told them where this comes from. And we're like, so now they know and they understand why I behave this way. I'm like, like that wasn't an excuse, you know. It gave us understanding, but you still have to take accountability for what is required to change, you know. So, you know, just because I know that the doctor said I shouldn't eat the cheesecake and eat the sugar and all that doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing. We all have behaviors that
Candy corn. Yeah.
coffee, whatever it is, you know, like we all do things that we know we probably shouldn't do,
Right,
you know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
so in order for there to be change attached to vulnerability, that's training.
Right.
That's training ourselves to do something different than what we would do pattern wise, you know. So I came from this dysfunctional family. That's no excuse. Now that I understand that, for me to be like, well, I don't want to talk to you. You did this, is like, okay, what behavioral changes need to be attached to that? So with vulnerability could come building self-esteem, right? Building self-worth, learning how to communicate better, learning the difference between assertiveness and aggression, learning how to set boundaries, you know, and even spiritual walk, issues with identity, having a sense of purpose, being intentional. Like all of that is attached to vulnerability, not just saying, okay, I talked to you. Thank you for making me feel safe. But how we continue that is behavioral change, you know.
Sure. And I've learned, you know, that sometimes as married couples, we can think we're being vulnerable and open, but we're really not. We're giving people the surface, the high level parts, and not really getting down into the bottom basement part of what's really going on. And because here it is, safety is more of a feeling I have around a person, more than me saying it.
Yeah.
And when you know when there's safety, there's automatic. Your wall starts to automatically start to come down, even without your knowledge. And then usually, if you've been broken, when you see that wall kind of go down, what you do is we throw it back up 30 feet higher rather than just letting it. But the reality is, a lot of us, we're just scared.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. We're just scared to be vulnerable again, because somebody before we met this person hurt us, or our spouse hurt us, and we're just scared. We got to be honest with ourselves. I want to do this, but I'm scared. Right? And a part of vulnerability is saying, I'm scared.
Yeah. Yeah. And like mutual agreement to give grace to the other person. Because sometimes when you talked about broken trust is, you know, we're scared and then we put up those walls, but we don't create a path forward. So there's like, I'm trying to get to do what you asked me to do to rebuild trust. And then when I do it, you smack my hand and you keep telling me like, no, you hurt me. I don't believe you. I don't trust you. And like, like it's done. And like, but you just said you wanted to work on it. So we understand the fear. We understand the discomfort. But everything that's necessary is not comfortable. In order to move forward and create, like you said, an environment of safety, there has to be a path forward. So the person says, all right, I know I hurt you. I'm trying to find a way back. Yeah. I did what you asked me to do. It's not working. What's the path forward? Yeah. And if we're not able to articulate that and tell them, like, give me time, I need this, I have to problem solve with the person, then it's very hard to continue to work on growth with your partner if there's no clarity, right?
What does restored trust look like to you?
Yeah, what does it look like to you?
I remember I was talking to somebody who had an infraction, and I said, if you do anything that looks like, it may not be it, but if it looks like it, all of a sudden, look, if you're going to be late, you better FaceTime. I'm stuck in traffic. I mean, you overdo it for a while. Look, see? Look. This is why I'm late. And the person had to start doing that. I was like, you overdo it to a certain degree. Not like crazy, but like reassurance has to be earned again.
Yeah.
Because if anything, even an ounce, especially in the beginning, when it's real raw and sensitive, if an ounce of it looks like that, like it's just, and then over time, when trust is rebuilt, you don't have to be as overly, assuring. But I told a class last night, the problem is the perpetrator often wants to dictate the healing process of the victim. If you were the one that caused the problem, you don't have the right to dictate the healing process terms. The person that was hurt, they're the ones that have the say, I need a minute. Conversely, the one that's been hurt, you can't make the other person pay for it the rest of their lives, because eventually they're going to say, you know what, I've tried, and you just can't do it, and we might as well just go about it, because I can't do it anymore.
We need to have a conversation about how pride and ego is a part of this conversation too. Okay. That like, if you messed up, like how hard it is for people to apologize, to take accountability, how much pride and ego is in that. That like, I said, I'm sorry, like you don't get to dictate my process, and then also how pride is related to trying to control another person that has hurt you, like, no, like the egotism that's in that. And, there's no connection in that. Like, that's how we detach from people. And when we're talking about building healthy, secure attachments and safety, there is a level of accountability that comes with that. And that does require sometimes swallowing your pride and creating a safe path forward,
Well, do me a favor. Since you love me, care about me, you trust me, I got to go get the kids food. Close out. Tell people. You got it.
We can close out.
No. Stop. Talk to them about pride. Close out, and I'll thank y'all for coming. She loves me and she trusts me. This is what spouses do, especially those that are you pastor. Go ahead, close out. Talk about pride and all that good stuff.
Pride is not good. Okay. Anyway, so listen, I think that when it comes to relationships, one of the things that I always share with couples is the importance of accountability. When we're working on healing and rebuilding trust, remember to take accountability, respect each other's process, and know that process is not an event. It absolutely has to take work, training, responsibility, and a path forward. All right, so I know hubby left me, but I hope you guys enjoyed today's session. Thank you for joining our Links Couples Ministry. Meet us again next month. We love you guys. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you again on the next one.